Hello everyone, and welcome to my Iconic Goodbyes channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lily surprises Nate and Devon with news about Damian, and Billy expresses his concerns about Phyllis. Today on The Young and the Restless, Sally and Billy host a dinner party for Jack and Diane. Damian and Amy share some memories, and Lily tells Nate what she has learned. Billy chuckles as Sally slices and punches the cushions into shape. She's trying to make tonight great because she knows how important it is to him. He's confident that if things go wrong, it won't be because of fluffy pillows. He thanks her and kisses her before the doorbell rings. Billy invites the guests in. It's Jack, with Diane on his arm. They glance around and enjoy what Sally has done with the place. Billy attributes all of her success to her impeccable taste. Diane takes advantage of the occasion to remind her husband that it all comes down to trust. Jack says that they are without a home, and his wife explains that they had to relocate into the club while the house was being renovated. Diane suggests that living in the lap of wealth is no big deal. Billy says that Diane contacted him and asked for his approval on the redecoration, but he had no idea how large it was until he went by and saw the construction guys. This immediately causes Jack to worry. Diane reassures him that it is merely a remodel, despite the fact that it appears to be more than that. To calm him even further, Sally says that when she worked in home design, she was constantly shocked by how large crews were necessary to complete the simplest tasks. Diane begs her not to mention demo crews before Jack has a heart attack. Diane informs her husband that if he dislikes the redesign, they may return it to the old and dated museum that he previously enjoyed. Everyone is relieved when Billy decides to shift the topic. He expresses gratitude to everyone for being present at this pivotal moment in his life. It feels like a new beginning, and he wants to thank his older brother for his trust and support. They have had disagreements throughout the years, but never because they did not love one another. He is confident that Jack loves and believes in him. This means everything. They salute to Jack and Abbott Communications. Jack rises and makes a toast. Even if his brother didn't believe in him, he never gave up. He has always respected his determination and resilience in the face of more losses and disappointments than anyone else he knows. Billy has always pursued his goals with enthusiasm, innovation, and old-fashioned Abbott stubbornness. Jack is confident that his latest initiative will be a huge success because of his ability to love and forgive. The brothers embrace, and Billy jokes that after all that, he better not screw up. Diane, feeling down again, wonders if having Phyllis involved is a good idea. Billy claims she will be an asset and do everything she can to make it a success. Well, let's just hope this redemption tour is more successful than the last 100 or so, Diane tells me. Billy does not wish to spend the evening defending his decision. Jack shifts the conversation to the launch, but his brother admits that Phyllis left town to pursue some strange relationships and has been unable to reach. Jack begins to show concern, and Diane exacerbates the situation. Sally leaps up, says that the supper is ready, and leads Billy into the kitchen. Jack encourages his wife to stop insulting Phyllis. Diane cautions him that his investment may be jeopardized by his ex. Did he realize she was involved when he agreed to pay the bill? He asks her to leave this until they get home. Sally and Billy bring in lunch, and Diane requests a tour from the redhead. After they leave, Jack apologizes for his wife, but Billy is unconcerned about Diane's feelings. Jack encourages his brother to trust his intuition, despite being concerned about Phyllis's disappearance. Billy can hear that. Be careful, Jack says. Nate is perplexed by what Lily has learned. Nate is serving champagne to his cousins in his apartment. They toast to the company's growth and prosperity. They worked on a merger for 6 months before closing it owing to Lily. Nate toasts her for getting them across the finish line. Devon says she's the best there is. They're just happy she's back where she belongs. Lily wonders how she got there after everything she's been through. I guess Victor Newman was right, damn him, she concedes. The conversation shifts to Damian and Amy. Lily announces that he has to know a few things about his half-brother. As she sits and sips her champagne, she says that she had Damian examined after he insisted on meeting with her. She wanted to know if there was more to the story than it appeared. Nate informs her that he never requested her to look into his half-brother's background and would not have. Devon is more worried with what she discovered. Lily pours more champagne and reveals that Damian does not own the two firms he was supposed to possess. The actual owner is a private corporation called Arabesque. Damian is the CEO of two firms, but both are owned by Aristotle Dumas. Devon has heard the name and says no one knows what he looks like. Lily claims he goes out of his way to keep his participation covert. She believes that Damian lying about matters like this is a significant red flag and raises the issue of what else he might be lying about. Nate wonders how Denise missed everything and how she learned about it. She tries not to respond immediately, but is pushed into revealing it was Victor. Nate is upset that that man is anywhere near his business, but his cousin assures him that he is not involved. They dispute over what this Dumas person has to do with it. When Lily says she's had a few meetings with Damian and that there's always been something odd about him, Nate insists that he never asked her to get engaged. She reveals that Damian asked her out, and she consented for Nate's sake, believing she could help with Amy's issue. "I was trying to break open this box of lies he's been telling you since he came to town," she says. Her cousin believes it's all immaterial. This is just about Damian and Amy. If his half-brother discovers he is being probed, he may become enraged and flee town without thinking about Amy again. Lily apologizes. Her cousin understands she meant well. He's grown to care about Amy, and she's helped him understand the father he lost when he was too young. Furthermore, good or bad, he and Damian are still siblings and bonded. His cousins are worried about him getting hurt. Nate can't stop fearing that going to Victor would come back to bite them and scare Damian away. He asks Lily to respect his limits and stay out of this. Nate apologizes if he came down too hard, but they understand. He's attempting to give his brother the benefit of the doubt, assuming there's a valid reason for all of his odd behavior. Devon gives any assistance they can provide. "Leave it alone." "I've got this," Nate asks. Damian and Amy discover some common ground. Amy and Damian sit at a table in the athletic club's dining area. She proclaims that she is prepared to provide him with all of the answers he requests. Damian doesn't even know where to begin. He orders a pot of chamomile tea, figuring it's still her favorite. His mother is touched that he remembered. Damian emphasizes that they are a long way from resolving problems. She is happy that they have a shared memory, but she does not expect a rapid remedy. This is difficult for both of them. It hurt her heart to discover that he believed she didn't care about his father when he was dying. Amy can't stop thinking about how scared and lonely he felt. She took advantage of the situation, figuring he could manage more than he could. He acknowledges he was only considering his own sentiments and apologizes for that. She tears up and praises him, saying that if they can mend even a small part of their hurt, she will die happy. When the tea arrives, she smells it and smiles, remembering his cat Figaro. They hid the kitty in the house so they could gently inform his father that they had a pet. But as soon as Jackson met him, they fell in love. After Jackson died, Figaro refused to leave his room. Damian misses that man, too. Amy claims that he was his father's world. They shared an unshakable bond from the time they met. They remember the day he was born and how he almost had to be delivered on the side of the road. His father was present when he was born and was the first person to hold him. The expression on his face was pure adoration. Damian persuades her to declare that he never knew he wasn't his actual father. Once she does, he claims he never imagined Jackson knew the truth. She struggled to keep the secret, but his father was so close to him that she couldn't. She couldn't tell Nathan either. That would have landed a bombshell on his family. Amy wished her shame would go, but it did not. When Jackson died, it was as if a load had been removed. Her deception was safe, and she believed she could die knowing the truth. However, something changed in her after receiving the cancer diagnosis. After learning she was dying, she did not want him to be alone in the world without knowing he had a family. Amy never imagined that telling him the truth would go smoothly. She anticipated him to be angry and saddened, but hoped he would contact Nate. Despite the difficulties, she has no regrets. She still hopes he will forgive her someday, even if it is after she is gone. They once shared a deep bond. He cannot refute it. His childhood was wonderful until his father died. It was a dreadful moment. They lost Jackson first, followed by each other. Amy had imagined that she and Jackson would get old and wrinkled together. She was not prepared to lose him and did not manage it well. Neither did I, Damian confesses. His mother swears to do anything to rectify the damage. When he tells her he's willing to try, she replies that's all she needs to know. Their meal arrives, but she eats little. He assumes this is due to her leukemia. Amy informs him that it is a war. They chat about Nate connecting her with a new oncologist. Amy isn't waiting for a miracle, but her kid encourages her to be optimistic. She'll go see the latest doctor only to satisfy Nate. She has made peace with both God and her son. That's all the miracle she requires. She's unexpectedly grown close to Nate, and he's a good man. Damian immediately begins questioning how well she knows the rest of Nate's family and makes a point of forgetting Lily's name. She knows little about them but adores Audra. As he eats, he wonders whether the cousins are trustworthy. She thinks his curiosity implies he wants to know his half-brother better. Jack admits his doubts to Diane. When Jack and Diane arrive at the athletic club, Diane feels he is still angry at her. He admits that he is just as concerned about Phyllis as she is, but he wants his brother to be encouraged so he can fly. Flying anywhere with Phyllis is bound to end in a crash landing, she informs me. Back at Billy's, he and Sally clean up, and she calls the evening a success. He wonders if she believes he is making a mistake with Phyllis. After a long sigh, Sally admits Diane was correct. However, only he can determine the severity of the problem. Billy admits that there is something odd about this. Phyllis must realize this is her only chance, so what could happen? He hopes he could converse with her. Are you worried about what happened to her? She asks. Next on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis and Sharon put their brains together and devise a strategy to escape their strange captors. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 5th, Billy provokes Adam, Jabot's leak surprises Jack, and Victor rejects the truce. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 5th, state that a Jabot leak will upset Jack Abbott, while Victor Newman will reject a truce. Billy Abbott will also provoke Adam Newman, so let's talk about everything exciting that happened on Wednesday. For begin, Jack will discover a leak at Jabot, and he will most likely know who to blame. There's a significant probability Jack will seek out Victor for a confrontation, which Nikki Newman will be caught in the middle of. Jack may level allegations and force Victor to admit he placed some Jabot spies, but Victor will undoubtedly play stupid. Although Nikki will try to get Victor and Jack to reconcile, neither will be in the mood to end their long-running quarrel. That is especially true for Victor, who still hates Jack for what happened that night in the GCAC suite with Nikki. Victor isn't someone who simply forgives and forgets, especially when it comes to a serious adversary like Jack. Speaking of enemies, in Wednesday's episode of YNR, Billy will run across Adam and try to get him upset. Adam will be having a good time in the coffee shop with Chelsea Lawson when Billy appears. Billy will most likely believe Chelsea and Adam have reconciled based on the feeling they send off. Billy might get under Adam's skin for forcing Chelsea into this and refusing to respect boundaries. Chelsea may jump to Adam's defense, pointing out that she makes her own decisions, but Billy will most likely continue to blame him. Adam will also bring up Billy's huge launch, assuming it is the next stage of his revenge. Although Adam believes he, along with Newman Media, is a target, Billy may justify his new company as being about the future. Of course, YNR has hinted that Billy may still be vindictive after all. Billy could be preparing to strike some blows against Adam and Victor Newman, so stay tuned for more on his murky plans. According to The Young and the Restless spoilers, unpleasant news may be on the way for the Newmans as a result of Billy's plans, so keep an eye out for updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers, are Phyllis and Sharon being held by an enemy or a family member seeking peace? According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman have been kidnapped and are forced to work together to preserve their lives. Fans are starting to question if this is an actual kidnapping or if a family member is finally ready for these two to reconcile. Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers have been rivals for decades. It's time to put an end to their feud. Phyllis and Sharon have both adored Nick Newman and continue to battle over him today. Sharon attempted to frame Phyllis's son for murder this time, and Phyllis isn't going down without a fight. These two have even accused each other of kidnapping. Phyllis believed Sharon would face consequences for murdering Heather Stevens. However, it was determined that Sharon was not the murderer at all, but had been put up to take the fall. Sharon also attempted to implicate Daniel Romalotti for the murder by putting evidence in his flat. For years, the Newmans and Abbotts have had to put up with this. Phyllis and Sharon must have something to argue over, no matter what it is. Phyllis even caused Summer Newman and Kyle Abbott to divorce. Everyone who knows these women just wants it to end. Of course, Ian Ward might be behind this, as fans know he is not dead. Is Ian aware of all the fights these women have been in? Why would Ian be concerned about these people working together to help one another? From a kidnapping standpoint, this entire tale appears to be quite suspicious. Could it be that someone they know is merely hoping Phyllis and Sharon may find peace? Could a family member be attempting to force a truce? Although it may be deemed harsh for a family member to kidnap Sharon and Phyllis and keep them together, perhaps someone in the family simply wants these two women to stop. This latest fight has lasted months, and everyone is sick of it. Both Phyllis and Sharon have been acting like children. Phyllis and Sharon are now obliged to set aside their differences and work together. These two are actually getting along and cooperating to save themselves. Will Phyllis and Sharon finally reconcile and get along? Will Phyllis and Sharon discover that they have been set up by a family member to end the feud? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.